Our next speaker is Mr. Jonathan Davis, Vice President and External Relations at IDC. Mr. Davis heads the Raphael Recanati International School. He encourages the extension of the Circle of African Individuals studying at IDC. Mr. Davis is a member of the advisory board of the International Institute for Counterterrorism. Mr. Johnson, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Coming after Haji and Joey, I don't have a chance up here. And I'm actually embarrassed to stand here because I don't think I deserve to stand here in front of such a fantastic group of people. I'm humbled and I'm honored, and I also wish to recognize General Amos Gilad in the audience, who's one of Israel's top intelligence chiefs of all time, and Dr. Chaim Weitzman, also from the Herzliya Conference on IPS. These two individuals play a very, very important role at IDC Herzliya. And they saw fit to come here tonight for a very good reason, because of the importance of what's going on here. And Abramowitz, he's famous because his daughter studied here, communications. So you get famous by graduates of IDC Herzliya, and that's really important. This coming Shabbat, some of us are going to go to synagogue, and we're going to read a portion from Deuteronomy, the Parsha of Ki Tavo. And the Jews, after 40 years in the desert, finally get to come into the land of Israel. Moses didn't get that opportunity, but the others did. And they come here, after being in the desert for 40 years, to a land of milk and honey, and they're asked to bring a sacrifice of the first fruits. And that first offering of thanksgiving, the Levites bless the Jewish people, but they're also asked in that Parsha to bless the strangers in their midst. And basically, it became a tradition that if we're going to share our fruits and share our milk and honey with ourselves, we must also always share it with other individuals, regardless of their ethnic background or where they come from. And these strangers from the Bible have appeared within our gates now in this Jewish and democratic state of Israel. And they come from different ethnic backgrounds and different countries, and you can tell the national character of so many different streets in Africa, okay? One of them might be Fifth Avenue, okay? And basically, I think we need to adopt the Parsha from Deuteronomy, and we need to share our blessings with other people who have come to Israel. Joey Lowe pointed out how his parents and grandparents got to Israel. I once spoke to Joey Lowe's mother, and a real character who went through so much. And I can understand exactly where Joey gets it. It's in Joey's DNA, because his parents were asylum seekers, just like so many people in this audience. And we Jews suffered quotas. We had a ship turned back from the shores of Florida with 900 Jews on board, returned to Germany, so close to safety, and yet ended up, most of them, in concentration camps, because someone in the United States didn't think that we should receive those refugees. And Joey, to me, is a modern-day Levite from that Parsha, who shares what we have and shares resources. And basically, to a certain extent, we've established a city of refuge here, where someone can come and study, and we do our best with the authorities within reason, although unfortunately the Ministry of the Interior is in the hands of an ultra-Orthodox party which does not believe in egalitarianism, not for women, men, or I don't even know if they believe in egalitarianism for livestock or for dogs and cats. I'm not sure exactly what they think. Maybe after the coming election, someone else will take over the Ministry of the Interior and Messianic times will be upon us. Who knows? We don't know. I would just like to say that this university was built on the foundations of humanistic Zionism. It's the Zionism of Theodor Herzl, of Vladimir Jabotinsky, of Ben Gurion, and of Menachem Begin, who himself allowed 400 Vietnamese individuals to come into this country when they were abandoned in the North China Sea and brought them into Israel. And the humanistic Zionism believes in compassion, believes in being very, very sensitive to minorities within the country. So we are a Jewish and democratic state, by the people, for the people, but with the minority in mind at all times. And Joey Lowe, before I get to Joey Lowe, I just wanted to say that some of you in this audience who have come to study at IDC are some of the finest minds Africa could ever export outside of Africa to study at an academic institution. I mean, your level of intellect is extremely high. We see you arguing and getting good grades and becoming just like any other Israeli on campus here, which is extremely gratifying. But at the end of the day, it's not just us who are providing you with an education. I see our professors who teach you, learning so much about where you come from, learning so much about your national character. Those of you who, by the way, study sustainability, I think it's fantastic. I want to see more and more students studying sustainability and maybe go back to Africa and bring some of that message across and help with water and help with agriculture and help lobby or work in the United Nations and do so many things. It could be that some of you in the audience here may become future prime ministers of an African country, a future foreign minister of an African country. Some of you may become future ambassadors, and then you'll really have a good time. You won't have to do anything. You can get whiskey, duty-free, cocktail parties, and pretend that you're working. Just need to send a letter to, I'm joking, this is a joke. Don't get the wrong idea. Some of them actually work, which is a good thing. And lastly, Joey mentioned the racism, where someone wants to call someone a rapist, or someone wants to call someone a thief, or someone wants to call someone something else. I just know about the students that I've met at IDC Herzliya, and by the way, also other people who work at IDC Herzliya who don't study here. By the way, some people who sometimes worked in the kitchen here became students here afterwards, okay? And I always found those individuals to be more moral and more well-behaved and more religiously moral and more menschlich, which is a very important African word for just being a good person, okay, than the average Israeli. The African students on this campus are better behaved than the average Israeli, trust me, and I know what I'm talking about. And lastly, I want to refer to the Levite, Joey Lowe, who shares in the milk and honey. He doesn't have to, but he actually does have to, because he can't allow himself not to. And I've known Joey for about a bar mitzvah, 13 years. It's the bar mitzvah year for me to get to know Joey, 13 years, since 2006. And his passion to help Ethiopian students, and I'm really proud of the Ethiopian students who are here in the audience, many of them former combat officers in the IDF, who came to share in this conference also, which I think is a very important bonding and an important aspect of it. Joey is full of passion, full of humanity, full of tzedakah, which is philanthropy in the Jewish way of saying it, modesty. He's the kind of person that if he's going to sit together with me and we have to interview someone, wants to be accepted to something, here at IDC he's going to break into tears, okay, at any given time, because this is something which influences Joey, okay, 24 hours a day. And I think I've been lucky in these bar mitzvah years to meet someone like Joey, because Joey can be contagious. And I like that kind of contagion. I like that kind of contagion very much, because it's the contagion of people who reach out to other people who don't have. And he's taught me one or two things about the importance of philanthropy. And in my personal opinion, he's my favorite supporter. At IDC Herzliya, he's number one. There's a lot of other supporters here, but he's the one supporter and donor of IDC Herzliya where I feel, and Professor Reichman feels, that we're hands-on with this, that this is not just some donation. And what I'd like to do, I'd like to reach out to all Israeli business persons who do business in Africa. And many Israeli business persons make very nice profits in Africa. And I think they should make profits in Africa, and I think Africa should make profits as well. I would love for more and more business persons to adopt 2 or 3 students and put them through university in Israel. I think it's so important. We can't have this only on Joey Lowe's shoulders. There's only so much one person can do, and he's doing so much. And by the way, he gives so much quietly, okay, that you don't know about, that all of a sudden I find out from someone that they had to go back. There were a number of individuals who were convinced to go back to South Sudan and went on airplanes, and some of those people studied here, and then I find out, okay, that whole suitcases full of food and full of clothes and full of medicine for young children, okay, Joey bought them all. And they're all packed, and they're taking them to South Sudan. Those are the things that Joey doesn't talk about. Not to mention, and all of those things, for me, over the last 13 years, has been an education. It's been like a BA, MA, and PhD, all in one, in how to be a mensch. And I'm speechless. And Joey is tough. He's tough. He wants to make sure that every penny he's giving, okay?
My wife is tough.
Joey's wife is tough. That's true. But Joey's tough about donating his funds and making absolutely sure every penny goes to the right person for the right tuition, for the right monthly assistance that those people are getting, and knows every single person by name personally. He is the only donor in the world I know who is like this. So what I would like you to do is all stand and let's have a standing ovation for Joey Lowe. And thank you for giving me the honor to stand up here, which I don't deserve, and Annika and Joanna, who are also here from IDC, Annika and Joanna, who try to help our students as much as they can. Thank you also for coming.